Hi, it's Andrew again, the Amazon expert, and we're looking at the risk factors. And what we want to do this time is have a quick look at who else is selling. So I'm going to bring this one up for you right now as we speak. So what we're looking at here is quite simple. Who is your competition? You need to understand whether you've got a product that you can enter the marketplace with, that you can compete, and that you can make money on. And whether you're making money, it doesn't matter whether you're making a few dollars, pounds or euros, or whether you're making tens or hundreds of pounds, dollars or euros. You still need to understand where the competition is and how that competition could affect you later on. Now, if there's something that is selling really, really well, selling a lot all the time, then don't think that that one is not going to be one to sell. It may well be the perfect one for you to sell because there are so many people buying. So don't rule out large amounts of volume sales where there's competition if you can compete with that competition. And that is the key here, whether you can compete. So what you're looking at first of all is going to be your big retailers. These are going to be your big guys. These are going to be in places like the US Walmart, the UK Asda, Tesco's. It's going to be your big stores. Now these could be the big top-end stores that you find in all of the malls. So it could be a major clothing company, so like Morgan or one of the other brands out there that you find in every mall that you're going to. So you could be selling against competitors that are very, very big, that have very deep pockets and that can put up some really big bargains. So you need to find out where they are. So it could be that they're in the garden centres and places like that as well. Find out who the big retailers are of that product, but also, which is something we come on to, find out when they sell it, because what you will find with big retailers is they go by sales per square foot or square meter or square yard or whatever it is measurement you want to use, and they look at how much that space is making as a return. So very often the big retailers will only have that product in there as a seasonal item. So you can take advantage of that, because if they're going to sell it for 2 or 3 months, so it's in on the shelf cleared during the time when you've got big sales, but you're able to say, right, well, I'm going to dip mine at that stage. I will take lower volume. I might not sell quite so many. I'm not going to get the price, but as soon as they take it off sale, you're back in there for the other 9 months. And what are those 9 months looking like? Are they good enough for you to sustainably have that product in an area which would normally be classed as out of season for those retailers? Really, really good opportunity there for you. Now you want to have a look at the independent retail market. Now the independent retail market may be just the one-man bands right through to people that have got a chain of small independent stores. But have a look, see what they're doing, and see what they're doing behind the scenes, because they're relying on footfall for the actual physical store. So they're relying on people walking past the door, walking through the door, and walking in, walking around and buying. But what is their online position? Are they online? What are they doing online? How well are they doing it? So you need to have a look at the big retailers, the independent retailers, and then also have a look at their online operations as well. And the same with the online sellers. Go in and have a look to see what they're doing. There'll be a lot of people out there that are just selling online, quite happy, taking the orders and dispatching the goods from whatever source they're getting the stock. So have a look at those. Now, what you also want to do then is we move straight on to Amazon and Amazon Direct. Now then, if Amazon have spotted that this is such a good product that they're actually buying the product in themselves and selling it direct, then you've got some competition that you may not need. So you need to have a look at Amazon, and if they are selling it directly, then can you compete? Because obviously with Amazon's infrastructure, they can obviously drill the pricing and the carriage and everything else right down. And they may be using it just as a lever to do some other sales. So they may not be looking at that product as being the product with profit. They may be looking at that product as being, what else can we sell with them as well? So they may be doing some remarketing. Other people who bought this also bought this. Or to buy this, you need these accessories. So what they're then doing is they're building the product up. So the other items they may be selling with it could contain the main profit and not the actual product itself. So again, something else you need to be aware of and you need to look at. Then look at the other platforms, the eBays, the Plays, the Etsy's and all the rest of them that are out there. There's plenty of them there, there's loads of them. There's a big list of them. go and have a look, see who else is selling, especially in the countries that you are wanting to sell in. Have a look and see what is out there, what your competition is. But not only that, as we've said before, this is looking about who else is selling, but when you are having your look at who else is selling it, go and have a look at the reviews and feedback, just in case there's some ideas and things you can pick up there. Also, if they look as if they're selling really, really well and you identify them as a seller that is moving a lot of this stock on a regular basis, then the next thing you want to do is just have a quick look at their keywords and descriptions. You can take a lot of information from that. You might find that they're using some keyword strings that you haven't thought of, or some wording in there that you haven't thought of, and it's a case of, make a note of it, keep it alongside that product if you're going to go ahead with it. The other thing you need to be aware of is there's a number of manufacturers, especially some of the exporting manufacturers even, that are selling direct to consumers as well these days. And there's a bit of a growth in this we're seeing now, that a lot of factories will go direct to the consumer, and they're doing it through secondary companies very often, sometimes direct from their own company. But if you have got a factory that is going direct, or a manufacturer that is going direct to the consumer, and is also selling into the rest of the marketplace, you need to understand what their position is. What is their position on price? Are they always going to make sure that you can all receive a margin, or are they just taking the big part of it from themselves and they don't actually really worry too much about your profit? That is something you really do need to have a look at, and it may be that you have to make contact with the manufacturer and ask them what their position is. Do not be afraid to do that. A number of people say, I'm not going to contact the manufacturer, I don't want to do that, that'll upset them. Don't worry, it's business. At the end of the day, the manufacturer would sooner be dealing with you in a profitable way than sending the bailiffs to actually come and get the money because you can't afford to pay, because the deal that they gave you was so bad you actually couldn't carry on trading. Which countries is it sold in? Again, depending on where you're going, it may be a case where you have something, and I can give you an example of that. I had an item that I was selling in the UK marketplace, and the item was selling very, very well. I was in at the beginning, and the guys that were bringing it into the country for me, they stated at the very beginning that they were not going to sell it to anybody else on the internet. I could have the sole rights to it. And I thought, brilliant. Actually, they stiffed me on that one, to put it technically. They sold it to anybody that had got an eBay site, an Amazon site, etc., etc. So within about 6 months, this particular product, I had more competition on it than I could actually be bothered to deal with. So because the margins had dropped, I was selling them for between, in the UK, $29.99 and $35. I then found that people were selling them between 16 and 20, and in some cases 22, 23. So the margin had gone, it was completely wiped out, there was nothing there. Everybody was doing a fast race to the bottom because they'd sold to so many online sellers that they'd just crippled the business basically. So what did I do? I sent mine over to Australia and the States, and I sold all my stock out at profit to Australia and the States. Am I working with that company? No. Are they still going? I don't know, I haven't looked for a couple of years, but I would be very surprised if they were still going. Brilliant product, but they just did the whole thing wrong. They were greedy. They took everybody's order and just let everybody else go to the wall on the marketplace on price. So all you had was the race to the bottom, who could sell the cheapest, which is great for the customer, absolutely brilliant, but no good for us who are wanting to sell and make a fair bit of money as a return, so that we can continue to sell and offer brilliant service to our customers. And then of course the other thing you want to do is, who else is selling? Have a look at the white label product. Who is dealing with white label or own brand? So you've found a branded product, or you've found your niche product and you think, right, that's the one I want. Have a look who else is selling something similar. And it could be that there's 2 or 3 brands selling the same type of product in the marketplace. You need to know that. And then you do the same exercise. Who are they selling, how they're selling, how much. So it could be that it's an opportunity for you to white label as well, or it may be it's an opportunity that you might have to say, on this one, I might have to walk away and pass. There is no deal that you've got to take at any price. absolutely no deal you've got to take at any price. You have the choice. So a little bit of research at the very beginning, albeit some people may find that a little bit difficult, pays off massively. That one I can assure you. So this is Andrew, the Amazon expert. I'm going to sign out on this one, and I will be back on the next video.